Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks, Sarah Kay. Thanks, Arlene. Thanks, Joyce. Those of you who know me, I probably know that I don't usually give a presentation without a Simpsons clip. I'm a really big fan of The Simpsons. Every aspect of society has been connected by The Simpsons. But actually, this time I want to mention my favorite comedian. His name's Brian Regan. Anybody know Brian Regan? Okay, there's a couple of, all right, good for you guys. Brian Regan has this joke where he says, I was in the juice aisle the other day at the store, and he says, I don't know what's going on with cranberry, but it's getting in all the other juices. He says, you got apple? Okay, we'll go cran apple. You got grape? We'll go cran grape. You got mango? We'll go cran mango. You got pork chops? We'll go cran chops. But he's right. He's right. I was actually in the store the other day, and I took this picture. He's right. Cranberry has gotten in all the juices. And I took this picture a couple of weeks ago, and it occurred to me, I was thinking a lot about this meeting and what we were all up to here for these 3 days. And I thought back to when I was an undergrad looking at graduate programs. So I was a computer science major thinking about grad school. And as I searched, I realized there were all these programs I had no idea existed. Computational biology, computational chemistry programs, computational linguistics. I even found a computational anthropology program. And this was a little over 20 years ago when I was looking for these. And what occurred to me is computer science literally is the cranberry of the STEM disciplines. It's made its way into everything. And I think, if we think about why that's true, computing and computational thinking this really reflects what's going on in the real world. That's why these programs exist. These are important intersections to be thinking about. And I know when Arlene and her team formulated the idea for STEM plus C, why not just have a computational thinking program? Why do the STEM plus C part? What is computer science without something to apply it to, some context to use it in? And that was the insight. And so the connections between STEM C and what's going on in the real world are profoundly important. And that's what we're here to explore. And I view a lot of NSF-funded work as all of us working together to modernize education to match the real world. And that's really what's happening in STEM C, I think. And so, our goal then is the other speakers mentioned, is to really unpack what we've achieved together. This is going to take all of us to do. So the notes that you'll be taking and the breakout groups we'll be having is really our chance to achieve these goals together. So let me actually introduce you to the synthesizing team. Now, our job, we're going to be moving around. We're going to be asking a lot of questions. We're going to be taking a lot of notes. We're really dependent upon you guys to share your views, and we're going to attempt to bring it all together for Friday morning. So the synthesizers who are here, could you guys please stand up? We've got Colin, Liz, Sarah Kay, myself, Jilly, and Sherry can't stand up because she's not here. Sherry will be working remotely, so thank you, everybody. So those are the synthesizing team. Oh, well, you can clap on Friday after see if we do a good job. But Sherry actually will be monitoring. She couldn't be here, but she's done a lot of the analysis of the surveys. She's going to be monitoring the notes that are taken, and we're going to Zoom her in on Thursday when the synthesizing team meets. So our goal is to really tell the STEM C story. We're really trying to provide Arlene and the program officers what they need to not just justify but brag about what's been achieved. This booklet was amazing. I was flipping through it. There's a lot of really good work coming out of STEM C. I'm excited to be a part of it. My project is just beginning, so to learn from all of you and to figure out how to position the work that we're doing on my project is invaluable. And I want to thank Arlene for giving me the opportunity to lead this effort with some great collaborators on this. So just a few words about what we're about to do. This is really a chance to bring us together into some, semi-coherent subgroups. It is kind of tough to decide which group to be in, and that's okay. Joyce mentioned splitting up if you can. I think that's really important because projects can be viewed through different lenses. But what we want to do is really share our research, and it is about research. Okay, so There are a lot of important questions, but this next session is about the research that's going on in STEM-C. So look for our shared goals, our shared definitions, approaches, trends that you see, lessons that have been learned. Try to come together around big ideas in STEM-C. There's a lot of incredible empirical work, so we want to start drawing some connections between projects, people answering similar questions in maybe different ways. Those are interesting things to note. And I do want to really stress, everybody has said it, but capturing all of this is important. So if you like scribing and you like synthesizing, it's not a verbatim thing. We're not asking for every word that's spoken. We're asking for these issues emerge from our discussion. There were debates around these questions. That's really what we want to know. We want to know what are the hot spots in the STEM-C body of work and the themes and the consistencies and inconsistencies. So Arlene recruited a group of program officers who are up here at the front table that will be facilitating the sessions that we're about to do. There's going to be some differences between the rooms, obviously in content, but also there's different numbers of speakers, there's different numbers of people. So each room will kind of evolve in its own way, I think, but this was the suggested structure for the meeting. And so your program officer, facilitator will introduce everybody. There will be some number of presentations that all of you who are presenting already know. And you've been asked to speak about your evidence, your impacts, your research approach, because that's the focus of the sessions. So we're using those presentations as kind of concrete examples of what's going on in STEM-C. Thank you to those who volunteered to be a part of that. After all of those presentations, there will probably be a discussion of those, panel style most likely, but again, it can emerge as whatever makes sense in each room. Then we'll take a break. After that, we've designed kind of a synthesis activity. So this is something inspired from the cyber learning meeting a few years ago. And I'm just going to say a few words about it now, but in the room you can get into more of the details, of course. And really, this is just a structure that we're putting in place to help us start to make these connections and start to understand the projects more as a whole. And then after that, there will be some closure, some kind of final discussion. So the three guiding questions for each room, and you'll actually be breaking up into three groups to address each of these, and then doing a round robin where you'll get to contribute to each of these questions in subgroups. What are your research questions? What methods, analyses, what kind of data are you collecting? Basically the how are you doing it question. And then the last one will be what are the findings or observations that you're making? What impact are you having? Any principles that are emerging. So they kind of are the standard questions you would expect in a research methods class, actually. But over all of these, we are also, what's fundamental to all three of these questions, which are general, are the specific STEM plus C questions. And those revolve around the two key issues of how do you operationalize and define computational thinking. So that hopefully will be discussed, it should be. And then the second one is how are you achieving integration between the two? That can happen at different levels of abstraction. It can happen in very different ways. And so we're very interested in understanding the landscape of that. So to give you a sense of, so what will happen then is you'll break into these three groups and you'll have a variety of Post-it notes and markers and some of this newsprint paper up, and you'll be asked to write down the research questions of your project and put them up on these large pieces of paper. Now, when you do that, the hope is that there's some thought that goes into it, like, okay, here's some similar questions, move them around, start to group them, start to sense make of the mess that will be a bunch of Post-it notes. And that's going to happen for each of the three. You might be panicking, because I kind of am already on my project, because it's new. What findings do we have? So we're interested in not just questions you've already answered, but what's emerging. What's potential evidence that you're going to find? What are the things that you might contribute? And you can note that on the Post-it notes so that when we go look at it as a group, we can understand this is coming up. This is something that's maybe tentative but emerging, and these are more robust findings too. So you can kind of type those as you wish. Really, I encourage you to be creative in this activity and to essentially make it be something helpful given the framing that's been done today by everyone up here. Just to show you how crazy these can get, this is from the cyber learning meeting. They start to look like this, and this is beautiful. I love this stuff. There's labels, there's groupings, there's major topics. These are the things that we're very interested in looking at together and trying to draw from. So we'll get pictures of all of these, and we will need someone in each room or a group of people to agree to scribe, and then so the discussions around where questions go or how methods should be organized, all of that is very interesting and hopefully can get captured in our notes. So just some final comments on this. Spread your team around. I've said this stuff. Evidence at all stages is welcome. One thought I had was, as we look at these, and the rest of the summit, we're going to have these boards up the whole time so you can scan what the other groups came up with. I think it would make sense to either list the PI name on the project, on the Post-it, maybe on the back or somewhere, or you could even write the page number of your one page in the book, because we're going to look at these things and we might want to know who wrote this or what project's pursuing this question. So you could just write down your project number page in that booklet or the PI name. I think any way to find you will be productive. And so my last comment is we are really all in this together. So let's help STEMC, let's help each other, let's ensure this program has a long, productive life so that we can continue to do this incredible work that we're all very lucky to do. So that's all I had to say. I know that we're probably a little behind. Do you want to? Okay. So I'm going to hand it off to Brianna, and I'll just leave this up so you can all remind yourself where you should go.